ng kahapon natin ng ibaon. Higbi ng kalooban sa kalangitan isabong. Hayaang maging tala at magsilbing gabay. Liwanag na ito sa'yo'y papatnubay. Sa dilim ng landas ng lawang kailangan sipayo ng kalooban tanglawang liwanag. Ningning ng pag-asa'y makakamtan. Sa gitna ng unos tanglaw ay lubos. Pananampalataya sandat ng tangang apoy ng pag-asa siyang tanglaw. Apoy ng pag-asa siyang tanglaw. Hawak kamay, sama-samang maglalakbay. Hindi bibitiw, kami ay iyong hawakan sa pagtutulungan. Ang pag-ibig ay tunay, pagningasin ang apoy ng pakikipagkapwa. Umaasang bighati ay matapos, masakit sa lahat, nawa ito ay maglaho. Aming dalangin sana ay iyong linggin. Aming hinaing sa'yo'y makarating. Tanglawang patnubay sa bighating puso. Tanglawang gabay sa naliligaw mundo. Tayo may di man magkasundo. Isang tahag nilatang layunin at ang lamang nitong ating puso. Kapayapaan muling matatanaw. Kapayapaan muling matatanaw. Sa dilim ng landas ng lawang kailangan sipayan ng kalooban tanglawang liwanag. Ningning ng pag-asa'y makakamtan. Sa gitna ng unos tanglaw ay lubos. Pananampalataya sandat ng tangang apoy ng pag-asa siyang tanglaw. Apoy ng pag-asa siyang tanglaw. Apoy ng pag-asa'y tanglaw. Ningning ng pag-asa siyang tanglaw.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the graduate program, General Orientation for the second semester of school year 2020-2021. I am Mr. Paulo Joseph L. Blando. I am the Academic Affairs Coordinator, and I will be your moderator this afternoon. I would like to remind everyone that if you have inquiries, if you want to respond to some of our questions later on, please do use our chat panel. We will begin the session with a prayer. I now invite everyone for a moment of silence as we pray in a special way for our families, for our communities, and at the same time, for our school. Together, I invite you to join me in praying. God of love, you are with us in every transition and change. As we enter into this new semester with excitement and even some anxiety, we recall your deep compassion, presence, and abounding love. We thank you for the gifts, talents, and skills with which you have blessed us. We thank you for the experiences that have brought us to this moment. And we thank you for the work of others that gives breadth and depth to our own work. Be with us as we move forward, rejoicing with you and supporting one another. We ask this in your name. Amen. Once more, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our general orientation for graduate program students. So let me greet you. For those I have not yet met, even virtually, let me greet you. Happy 2021. We know that times had been tough for some of us, but we will move on. Okay, we are determined to move on, and enrolling for the second semester is indeed one of the better steps that we are taking for 2021. So what a better way to start 2021 than by making sure that we are prioritizing our professional and academic development. So welcome to 2021 and welcome to the National Teachers College. I would like to tell you the flow of our program this afternoon. So we will have the opening remarks and the introductions by our Dean, Dean Ferdinand Pitagan. And then after his opening remarks and introduction, we have what we call a special part wherein we will start with a bang by asking you questions and some trivia information in order to spice up our orientation this semester. Then we would listen to some of the academic highlights for the second semester with the message from our Vice President for Academic Affairs in terms of the semester ahead. Then we would listen to Professor Bohol, our graduate program head, for the retention policy and some critical schedule. And then towards the latter part of the orientation, we'll have a message from our student government, and at the same time, the president of our doctoral council. And then finally, we will have a closing reflection, again, to be led by our vice president. So I think we are now all set for our orientation this afternoon. And without much further ado, let me now call on our Dean for the School of Teacher Education, no other than Dr. Ferdinand B. Pitagan. Hi, Dean Pitagan. Good afternoon and welcome to our orientation this afternoon.
Good afternoon, PJ. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Isang pinagpalang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ayon. Thank you, PJ. Again, we would like to welcome you everyone to the National Teachers College for our first year, for our freshies. Welcome to the National Teachers College. Thank you for choosing Tanglao. We hope that this would be the beginning of your dreams. This would be the beginning of something better for you, your family, and also for the nation. We would like to thank everyone who's taking time to attend our orientation. We are at 603 and counting. If you do have any inquiries, clarification, please use our chat rooms. Our professors, your professors are on standby, as well as the members of the Academic Council, to answer some of your inquiries. Okay? So, next slide, please. Next slide, please, PJ. Ayan. So, mukhang meron tayong login connection. Ayan. So, welcome to the graduate program of the School of Teacher Education. We have a remarkable almost 100 years of history in excellence and service that envision as the standard bearer, the premier graduate education in teacher education in the country. And in fact, we are now the largest in the country. We dare say that we are the largest in the country because of your confidence in us in continuing your lifelong and life-wide learning. We envision ourselves to be, the premier school for advanced studies for innovative institutional managers and would-be leaders of our country. We are committed in the culture of excellence in education, research, and service. We know that most of our graduates, especially in the graduate studies, in the advanced studies, are leaders now in their own field or would be leaders. We take it to heart to mold the future leaders of education. Kasi, this is what we need. I think kung mabago natin yung edukasyon, mabago natin yung mga graduates natin, we are not only saving the family or that particular student, but the generation ahead, as well as the whole nation. So welcome to the premier graduate program of the School of Teacher Education. Next, please. At the School of Teacher Education, we have the world-class flexible leaders and faculty. My name is Ferdinand B. Pitagan. I am concurrently a consultant of UNESCO in information and communication tools. Primarily, we are now in inclusive open educational resource. Yung parang ginagamit ng iba na DepEd Commons. Even before the pandemic, we are really promoting the use of open educational resource as well as the whole gamut of technology integration. I am also a Mombusho scholar. I graduated my PhD in education from the International Christian University, one of the top 10 university in Japan, and as well as my master's degree from the University of the Philippines, major in educational technology. Professor Bohol, who is now our program head in the graduate studies, is a PhD candidate from De La Salle University. He is also a graduate of UST. I think he is a magna cum laude or a cum laude, as well as a biology graduate, a BS Ed biology graduate from PNU, who is also a cum laude. Our Miss Katrina Lusada, whom some of you already know, is our academic coordinator, who would also help you to go through an easy path to graduate education. She is a homegrown NTC graduate, both in the undergrad and in the graduate studies. We have also, a very, very diverse experts, adaptive and flexible faculty members. Next slide, please. Here are some of your teachers. Ayan. So we have Dr. Badiles. Dr. Lilibet Matira is a tenured faculty at the Graduate School of Teacher Education. Professor Blando, who is our host, is teaching technology and some philosophy subject. Professor Bohol is teaching scientific investigation. Professor Buranadi is in early childhood as well as in special education. Dr. Badiles is our expert in advanced statistics. Dr. Cruz is our resident research expert for methodology, even in thesis writing. Dr. Diaz is also for early childhood education. Dr. Epino, Dr. Rona, Professor Rona, who is also our research director. And of course, we have our very own VPA, who's teaching the MAED in Filipino. Dr. Gamboa and Dr. Gatus and Dr. Gonzalez are experts in educational leadership and research. I myself is teaching the dissertation seminar and the advanced technologies for education. Next slide, please. Yeah. So Vanessa, who is also the program head of counseling from the School of Arts and Sciences, is teaching psychology and counseling courses. Dr. Sismundo and Dr. Muldong, Dr. Nuera, and Dr. Relieve are expert in educational leadership and management and research. Chu Soriano is an expert in physical education. Dr. Velasquez is also an expert in counseling. Judah Roman would be teaching you about technology integration. And Alvin Sismundo, we're going to teach you mathematics, teaching mathematics. And Professor Yanga is for the TLE major. He will be teaching bakery science this semester. Professor Ariola, who is now a doctor from the University of the Philippines, would be teaching some of our general courses, as well as Dr. Rainier Rizardo and Dr. Bellas. So as you can see, around 95% of our faculty members in the graduate program are all doctor level. Okay, next please. And we are also very, very proud to have with us the former DepEd Secretary, Dr. Fe Hidalgo, as a Flora Ilagan Professorial Chair for Educational Leadership. She was with us, I think, for 2 semesters, and we are very, very honored that she extended her professorial chair up to this corresponding semester. And for this also second semester, we will be welcoming another esteemed colleague in the realm of education, none other than Dr. Agnes Valenzuela. So Dr. Agnes is now the chair of the CIMEO, of the Education Innovation, the Southeast Asian Ministry of Education Organization. She is the executive director of CIMEO. So Dr. Etar will be our Segundo Infantado Professorial Chair for Educational Innovation starting this second semester. So we are very, very proud that we have these 2 very esteemed, very well-known, internationally renowned educators who are now part of the Graduate School of Education at the National Teachers College. Maybe one of these days you would be required to attend one of their professorial lectures about innovation, educational leadership, research, or even flexible learning during the continuation of education. So we are planning to have their professorial lecture during this second semester. Okay, next please. And we are also, we also have an agile, adaptive, and flexible faculty. As you may all know, the graduate program now is totally modified online. So we have trained our faculty time and again so that we would provide you with the most effective and efficient technology integration so that that modified online platform would be as agile, as adaptive, as flexible for you and also for our faculty, so that we would, heighten learning and also provide compassionate education. Okay? And of course, next slide, please. Ayan. We have now our modified online. So all courses would be in modified platforms. Later on, you would be clarified on the expectations for students in our 18-week cycle. So what you need to do during that 18-week. We are also guaranteeing that everyone would be successful in their pursuit of lifelong and life-wide learning. As you can see, some of our graduates are also champions in the national education realm. Dr. Joyce is now the director of curriculum at DepEd is with us. Also, NAEP Director John Shena is also with us. Also, the president of ACSI, the largest Catholic association in the world with around 5 million students, members, Ces Tejale is also a student at the graduate studies. And everything that we do at the graduate program is to guarantee your access to success. Hopefully, you would be graduate within the 18 months or you would be graduate according to your timetable. Okay? Sige. Next slide, please. Ayan. And please be a member of our GP Sote Facebook group. I know there are different Facebook group for each of the majors in MA and also in our EDD. But the mother Facebook group would be the National Teachers College Graduate School of Teacher Education FB group. This is where we would log most of the all the pertinent information that you need to know and where you could communicate directly with us. Okay? So once again, welcome to the National Teachers College, and hopefully we would have a flexible, agile, compassionate learning together. And thank you very much for choosing Tanlao to be your partner in your continuous professional education. Mabuhay ang NTC, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Dean Pitagan, for welcoming everyone to the second semester. And by the way, don't worry, Dean Pitagan is also going to answer some of your queries on our FB Live. And so right now, Dean, I can see that we have 740 plus
Yes.
graduate school students, and the number is still increasing by the minute. So we welcome all of them. We have some new students joining us. So welcome to the National Teachers College. And those who are joining us once more, who had been mga balik NTC, welcome home.
Balik Tanglao. Mga balik Tanglao.
Right.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Right. Maraming salamat po muli, Dean Pitagan, ang dekano ng ating School of Teacher Education.
Thank you,
At this time, we will have a little unfreezer. And this unfreezer will be, it has a twist. So let's now move to the next slide. So let's call this segment Start with a Bang. Okay? And so what is interesting is if you are able to give the correct answer to 3 questions, at least one. If you get it correctly, then there's a surprise for you, and that surprise would be in the next slide. Okay. By the way, for those teachers, our grad school professor and members of the NTC admin, so bawal na po tayong sumagot. This is only for students of the graduate school. So a question will be flashed on the screen, and the first student to type in the FB Live session chat room the correct answer, the letter of the correct answer, gets a limited edition NTC merchandise. So napaka-exciting ito. So sana lahat tayo ay ready na tayo para sumagot ng ating katanungan. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, that's the magic word. So if you're now ready, can you please type yes so that our Dean Pitagan, Professor Bohol, and all the other teachers will be able to check kung sino yung if we are all set at the same time, sino yung pinakaunang makakasagot. So if you are ready, please type yes. Okay, so I think they're now ready. Let's play our Start with a Bang question number 1. Okay, maganda sana kung merong background music ito, Michael. Anyway, so question number 1. Which is being celebrated and promoted by the UN in 2021? A, is it red economy? B, black economy? C, orange economy? D, emerald economy? Economy. Go! Okay. Sino po yung una makakapag-type ng tamang sagot? Gets an NTC merchandise. Okay. Meron na pong mga nakasagot at tignan natin kung tama po ang sagot nila. Let's check. Next slide, please. The answer is letter C. So
congratulations.
Yung una pong can I just ask someone to help me?
Yes.
Yes, Dean Pitagan, sino ang unang nakatama ng sagot?
Ang una kasi si Patty pero since Patty is the president of the EDD Council, we will give the prize to Gloria De Vera. Gloria De Vera got the first correct answer.
May isa pang, may nauna pa po kay Gloria De Vera, si Alvin Kiloman?
Hindi, si Minard yung sumunod kay Patty. So Patty, Minard, and Gloria.
Okay. Sige, anyway, we'll take note of that. Sige, so Dean, thank you for, let's take note of that. So, orange economy. Bakit orange economy? Let's now go to the next slide. Let us try to look at what's the significance of the orange economy. Because take note that 2021 is a year of innovation. It's a year wherein a lot of the ideas are coming to the fore, and we would like to celebrate human talent. And hence, 2021 in Tanglao will be a period of sustainable innovation, because Tanglao will grow further as a creative hub at flexible learning for teachers, for both teachers and learners. Second, we would like to nurture talent further at the National Teachers College. So watch out as we roll out a new program, and we call it Humans of Tanglao, and some other exciting online student events for graduate school students. And then finally, we will enhance the wellness of each and everyone, because we want you to participate in exciting online activities that will build not only the culture of creativity and innovation, but at the same time to support our camaraderie and the development of greater human potential. So something exciting. 2021, it's the orange economy. Even when we are in the pandemic, we know we will celebrate humanity's finest contribution. Okay, so we now know that this year, 2021, we are celebrating orange economy, and this is true for the National Teachers College. So now, are you ready? Let's go to question number 2. Okay, if you're now ready, question number 2. The question is, who celebrated his birthday last January 15? A. Liam Hemsworth. B. Martin Luther King Jr. C. Is it Mark Anthony of Rome? Go! Okay, meron na po bang nakasagot? Feeling ko ang bilis nilang mag-message. Sino po ang pinagdiriwang natin noong January 15? Okay? Meron na po ba? May nanalo na po ba? Dean Ferds? Okay, type the correct answer. Dean Ferds, andyan pa po ba kayo?
PJ, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Sorry. Naku, si Patty na naman ang unang nag-type. If I'm not mistaken, ang una pong... So, Patty, I'm sorry, hindi ka... Yeah, that's correct, Sir Ed. Ang nanalo po ng question number 2 is si Nicole and Serrano. Tama, letter B. Si Martin Luther King Jr. At kung mapapansin nyo po during the Biden's inauguration, at saka they were always quoting si Martin Luther King. Bakit si Martin Luther King Jr.? Bakit po siya mahalaga? What's his significance in relation to what the National Teachers College is doing? Okay? The connection is he is one of a few men and women na who really stood up to keep on moving even in the time of difficulty. So, kaya nga di ba meron siyang saying, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Okay? The determination of the human person to persevere despite the challenges. So, what is its connection to NTC? Okay, number 1, we want to keep the National Teachers College a premier institution that values compassionate education. So we would like to keep compassionate education at work. That's why we would want reasonable consideration and leniency will remain as top priorities in our school. Second is the continuing training of our personnel, because we want them to make sure that they are ready for the post-pandemic context. Okay? Because we are not just preparing for the pandemic, but we are already preparing for what will happen a year or 2 from now. And then finally, we would like to make sure that we will open the lines of communication, because we want that we are able to connect with each other using multiple platforms, but at the same time ensuring that our communication lines preserve respect. Okay? in the way we deal with each other, because we believe that this open communication lines celebrate our diversity, but at the same time being different without being difficult. Okay, we might disagree, but even in our disagreement, we find time to understand each other. Okay, because that is a mark of a community, a vibrant academic community. So let's remember Martin Luther King Jr. as we usher in 2021. So let's now go to question number 3. Question number 3. So are you ready? The question is, okay, parang exciting ito. Which is not a Pantone color for 2021? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it D? Okay. Time to answer starts now. A is for Lava Falls, B is Beach Glass, C is Purple Rose, and D is Classic Blue, which is not a Pantone color for 2021. Okay, may sumagot na po ba? Okay, parang alam ng ating mga estudyante ang sagot. Okay. Nakita ko si Doc Bulanadi sumagot din. Doc Bulanadi, hindi po tayo kasama. Okay, meron na po bang nakakuha ng tamang sagot? Okay? Sa lahat po ng ating nanonood? Okay, Sir Ed is the one that you place on our chat room, the second? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Sir Ed. Our winner for question number 3 is no other than the person Diana Gubot. Okay? So Diana Gubot got it correctly. It's Classic Blue. Okay? Classic Blue. So what's the connection of this color to the National Teachers College? So make sure that you remember that one of our standard colors for the National Teachers College is the Classic Blue. And take note, so why is it important? Because at this time, we would like to assert our role as the National Teachers College. We want to make its brand to be known and to be distinct. And the brand name of the National Teachers College is not only in the physical structure of the school, but it is in its academic community. So that includes you. Okay, you are our ambassadors of the National Teachers College. Second, in the National Teachers College, we would still like to strengthen the democratic education, which is part and parcel of the mission of the institution, because we want to reach out to more student groups, okay, even how diverse they are. And finally, we would like to enhance our battle cry, which is alagang and alagaan ang NTC culture, because we want to build a more caring community that connects ambition and passion. So for all those winners, may I ask if you can send us an email and make sure that you are currently enrolled in the second semester. Okay, yun po ang requirement natin para maklaim nyo po yung exciting NTC merchandise. So thank you very much for those who joined, and if you did not win at this very short game, no, don't worry, there are others that will follow through. Okay, so at this time, allow me now to move to the next segment of our orientation, which is the semester ahead. And to lead us and to tell us more exciting academic innovations of the institution, let us now welcome the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Edison A. Fermin, for the segment, The Semester Ahead. Good afternoon, Sir Ed.
Good afternoon, Sir PJ, and good afternoon to all the wonderful students of the graduate program of teacher education of the National Teachers College. I'd like to make a special form of welcome to our new students on board, and mostly These students are coming from the Department of Education. In addition, I'd like to give recognition to the leadership of Dr. Ferdinand Pitagan, Professor Daging Bohol, Professor PJ Blando, and all the other people making up the graduate school of the graduate program of the School of Teacher Education for retaining our status as the country's largest and most upbeat graduate program for teacher education as of now. Take note that we are a pioneering and probably the largest graduate teacher education program. But as members of Tanglao, we believe that we cannot stay the same, and we would love to see ourselves and our institution really reaching new heights. In fact, I would like to share the good news to all members of the graduate school community that last November 27, the Ayala Conglomerate conferred the award, Innovation Excellence Award, to the NTC Graduate School Distance Education Program. It is only one of 3 recipients of this much coveted award in the Ayala Group. There were over 40 entries, and NTC was able to outsmart the rest in terms of the offering of adaptive and innovative graduate education, particularly at the time of the pandemic. And we will be using this platform for online learning to continue our mission of producing education professionals who are adept. Remember, ADEPT stands for our graduate program outcomes. We want to see in each graduate school teacher education student the capability to apply relevant knowledge, attitudes, values, and skills essential to your professional practice, research, and community service. Of course, we would also love for you to demonstrate expertise in planning, designing, and delivering curriculum and instruction, especially that the post-pandemic scenario will really require from us new skills in managing learning design and delivery. We would also like to see in you people who are capable of establishing linkages here and abroad that will facilitate the building and strengthening of professional learning communities, not only in your own schools, but anywhere in the country and in the world. And speaking of the world, shout out to our NTC students who have migrated to overseas, particularly in the Middle East, and we hope that you are in the best of health. We'd also like to see graduates who will promote a culture of innovation in schools and other related institutions, such as training facilities and development centers for many types of professionals. Just to let you know, the School of Teacher Education of NTC is also now producing professionals who are part of the expanded education, training, and development sector from the school and to other institutions. And of course, because you are being trained by very adept and adaptive instructors at NTC, we would love for you to become their mentees or trainees to become trainers yourselves so that you can transform your own learning spaces better and more meaningfully. But this semester, what we want to do is to establish more efficiencies in the way we are delivering instruction. Technically, there are 18 weeks that we are going to deal with. In the undergraduate level, the 18-week program is split into 3 cycles. Cycle 1 begins on January 18, that was actually last week, the week of orientations, including the graduate school orientation today. It will end on the 22nd of February. Cycle 2 begins on the 1st of March and ends on the 5th of April, just in time for the Holy Week break. And then the final cycle begins on the 12th of April and ends on the 17th of May. Now, take note that these cycles correspond to the prelim, midterm, and finals scheduled in the graduate program. For those of you who are surprised, there are certain limitations now in the courses offered in the second semester and in subsequent semesters, because through the diligence of Professor Bohol and Dr. Pitagan, we were now able to facilitate a semestral programming of subjects, which will be necessary to establish regularity for all students. So for those of you who are expecting that certain subjects will be offered this semester but are not, don't worry because they are likely the subjects that will be offered in the summer term. Each subject will be required 9 synchronous sessions. Now, in case your professors would deem it necessary to add a few more sessions, this will be negotiated with the members of the class. Take note also that we are bent on making sure that the assessments of learning will concentrate only on 3 types. These are called projects, problems, and cases. Why projects? Because we believe in the power of project-based learning relative to the goals of adult learning. Problems or problem sets, on the other hand, will afford you the opportunity to make use of your innovation competencies, particularly that you are working in school environments marked by certain school-based management principles and targets. And most importantly, because we would love for you to assume roles of leadership, you will be exposed to case analysis or the case methodology as an important component of your assessments. But all projects, problems, cases, and the content of your various subjects are framed within the design of self-directed learning because we're not seeing each other frequently given the remote education conditions at the moment. And take note, as opposed to the summer term and the first semester, we will now have defined and negotiated consultation days. I will talk about that a little more in the latter part of or the middle of our discussion. Now, let's talk a little more about our remote learning modality. There are 3 important aspects of this modality. The first is that you will be using your synchronous sessions for content updating, clarification on classroom requirements, and consultations. Sa mga mag-aaral ko sa mga nakalipas na semestre, batid na batid nyo na ang mga limitasyon natin sa ating mga sabayang sesyon ay nagpapakita na hindi lamang ito pagkakataon upang mapalawak natin ang ating kaalaman sa mga batayang impormasyon ng ating mga kurso, kundi paraan din ito upang ating mapalawak pa ang ating pangunawa ng mga kahingian sa iba't ibang yugto ng ating semestre. The second feature that you have here is self-paced learning. As I have said earlier, you will be able to maximize the power of your own free time, your own free periods of learning as you work, because you can access your resources over at our Google Classrooms where resources and assessments will be managed. And as I have said over the chat room, these Google Room links and the other links that are necessary for you to attend synchronous sessions will be made available beginning today all the way to next week. So please make sure that you know the links of your respective specialization FB pages on which we are going to upload this information. And finally, in terms of consultation, this will no longer be done on a 24/7 structure, but it will be fixed on a certain day of the week depending on what you will arrive at with your professors, because this will help us to allow adequate breathing space for both learners and teachers. Batid natin na kailangan din naman ng pahinga ng bawat isa sa atin, kaya wag naman natin sanang isipin na kahit na 2:00 ng madaling araw ay pwede niyong kausapin ng inyong mga profesor. Sila ay mga tao rin na nangangailangan ng pahinga at ng pagkakataon para magkaroon ng buhay sa labas ng akademya. The next thing that we would like to share with you is that our current context of learner assessment will need to be more focused and concentrated. There will now be a maximum of 3 culminating assessments. Nothing more and nothing less, but the smaller practice exercises, for example, in the courses for research, there will definitely be smaller tasks that you need to manage, but they will be kept to a manageable minimum. Now, as compared to the previous semester where there was academic easing in place, the deadline of submission this semester will strictly follow the schedule that will be announced by your teacher. And take note, only final assessments will be accepted at the end of the semester. Not like the previous semester where you can actually submit all your requirements at the end. Now, we will follow those strict deadlines to also help you manage your tasks much better. Now, in the event that you will be unable to fulfill a requirement, take note that as part of its maximum consideration and adjustments given to every student, the in progress or IP remark will still be in place. And we encourage everyone to please access our published policy on the in progress remark. And over our chat room, Professor Blando will actually put in a link to the IP policy guidelines so that everyone can be guided properly. The next item I'd like to share with you is how you can maximize your consultation. You know, it will be helpful if you message your teacher ahead of time. You can send them an email or a message that you want a particular time slot on the day of the agreed upon consultation day so that you could block it off. You know, our teachers have gotten so accustomed to communicating with their students online because this is how we are doing things for the time being. And so it is incumbent for everyone to maximize these communication channels so that everyone gets to update one another properly. The next is that we expect that you be direct, but definitely still respectful, because in a consultation day, there will be a lot of students who might be in need of some help from their professor. So please be mindful of that. And last but not the least, it will be very helpful if you can actually make yourself active in your online groups, because sometimes the responses to those queries that you have are actually some things that can already be shared or may be answered by the other people in your specialization. So please join your online communities. Now, the last slide that I'm going to share with you is some set of announcements, and then I will ask Professor Bohol, our program head, later on to announce the other items that you will need to know. RPL, research requirements, and the like are dealt with in a different and more focused orientation. So please be mindful of those schedules that we will flash in a little while. So please check any schedule updates beginning tonight all the way to next week, and then you can access your Google Classrooms and Google Meets links using your NTC email addresses, please. If you have not accessed your NTC email addresses, there is also a set of guidelines for that, and the link is found over our chat room. We will provide those so that you can easily follow the instructions. And again, just a reiteration, reach out to your classmates through your online groups or chat rooms, because that will be helpful for everyone. And please remember, academic contact time begins on the 25th of January. I'll be staying on and be active in our chat room. Meantime, I'll be turning this over to Sir PJ for the continuation of our orientation.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Ed, and for making sure that our students are on board for what will happen in the second semester. So I hope many of you are able to take note of the salient features that had been mentioned by Dr. Fermin in his message, Start Ahead. At this time, to tell us more about the retention policy and at the same time, some of the important schedules in the second semester, let me call on our OIC Graduate Program Head, Professor Dagim Bohol.
Good afternoon, Sir PJ. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. This afternoon, let me share with you guys our retention policies and important schedules for this semester. Because we want our students to really graduate on time and graduate at the top of their academic program. So we have these retention policies for both our master's and doctorate students. For master's students, first we have students must not obtain any grade in any subject lower than B-. The student enrolled is expected to finish in not more than 4 years. Remember, in the old curriculum, you're allowed until 5 years to complete your program. This time, you only have 4 years. So it is important to really be on top of your academic journey. Second, transfer units shall be credited properly after considering requirements. So we're actually doing that, no? So submitted TOR are actually evaluated right away, and then we right away tell our students if there are units that are credited from their prior earned units in the other institutions. Number three, the minimum number of semesters or terms required is 3, or at least 21 units or academic units besides the 6 units in the thesis writing should be earned at NPC to establish the regular residency for masters. So that's a required 21 academic units or equivalent of 3 semesters. Okay, so that's for our master's degree policies. For our retention policies for the doctoral or doctorate program, so first we have students must not obtain in any subject, in any grade, in any subject lower than B+. Second, the student enrolled is expected to finish in not more than 5 years, effective academic year 2019-2020. Same with masteral students. No, effective year was 2019-2020. But for EDD program, our EDD program, you are given 5 years to complete the entire program, including the defense of your dissertation paper. Number 3, the transfer units shall be credited properly after considering requirements. The minimum number of semesters or terms required is 5 or at least 32 academic units in addition of the 12 units dissertation writing for our EDD program or doctorate program should be earned at NPC to establish the regular residency period. Okay, so that's very important retention policies for both masteral and doctoral or doctorate degrees here at NPC. Now, these are the very important dates for this semester. So I hope everyone will take note of the following important dates. For January 25, 2021, this is the first day of our online classes, synchronous classes. So resume at January 25, 2021. And then on the January 30, 2021, in the morning, we have our first batch of the LinkedIn orientation. So remember, some our graduate students were actually, if not, required. Well, there are requirements for some of the tests that they need to enroll in a LinkedIn courses or mini courses in order for them to complete some of the courses that are available in the grad school. So these are very important orientation also. So February 1 is the PM orientation for the LinkedIn for the second batch. So we have several batches for LinkedIn orientations to accommodate the sheer volume of students enrolling in the LinkedIn program. For February 5, this is the last day of online registration for comprehensive exam. Okay, so January 25 until February 5, no? Then February 6 in the morning, this is the meeting for all new research writers who recently passed the colloquium in the last December and the topic presentation and the comprehensive exams. So this is also the time where the release of thesis and dissertation advisors are given to our graduate students, and of course approve the working titles. And in the afternoon is the orientation of our RPL, so the first batch of our RPL, so in the afternoon. And on February 10, 2021, in the afternoon is the online orientation for the second semester comprehensive exam. So those graduate students who are nearing the end of their academic journey, so this is very important for you. And on February 13, 2021, in the morning is our last batch of LinkedIn orientation. So make sure that if you miss the first batch, well, there are also second and third batch, but it is important also to maximize everything that you really have to attend in the batches assigned to your assigned to you. So whenever you register for the LinkedIn program. And then on February 13, 2021, in the morning, in the afternoon, is the online orientation for topic presentation and the release of online registration for the topic presentation and colloquium presentation. So that's February 13, 2021. Okay, so next is February 20, 2021 is the last day of payment for the LinkedIn Learning. So you have really ample time to save in order for you to pay this minimal amount of LinkedIn payment in order for you to have unlimited access to all the mini courses available in the LinkedIn education system. So on February 27, 2021 in the morning is the second semester online comprehensive examination date. So a must date to remember for those who are taking the compre for this semester. And in the afternoon is the thesis writers online advisement and then session for those currently conducting their research and a deadline for the submission of the research agreement between the student and their advisor. And of course, the last day of the research online registration for the topic presentation. So that's a lot of events that will happen on February 27, 2021. And on March 3 to 5 is the online topic presentation or colloquium. So this is the venue for those students who are practicing their research presentation. So colloquium and the topic presentation is a date for you to really remember. Thank you. Next, on March 6, 2021 in the morning is the online orientation for the pre-oral, oral, and reconvene presentations sessions. So take note of this date. And in the afternoon is the Rpl Updating Session for all students enrolled in the second semester for Rpl. This is your course validation time. And also the release of online registration for the pre-oral and oral presentation. So a lot of events also for March 6. And then on March 13, 2021 in the morning is the thesis writers online advisement and the session for those who are currently completing their research. And in the afternoon is the impact project sessions. So again, those graduate students who are in the terminal parts of their academic journey, please do not miss out on this very important dates so that you will be guided really well in your writing, in your thesis writing and dissertation writing. Thank you. Next. And on March 20, 2021 is the release of thesis and dissertation advisors and approved working titles for those who had their topic presentations last March 3 to 5, 2021. And of course, on March 27, 2021 in the morning is the final orientation on RPL submissions, the guidelines and release of the Google Links, Google Forms for your e-portfolio. So again, so those who are enrolled this semester in our RPL program, so take note of this. This is an opportunity for you to really organize your evidences or artifacts for your RPL. And in the afternoon, on March 27, is the online orientation for pre-oral and oral presentations. Thank you. And next, March 27 in the morning is the final orientation on RPL submissions, guidelines, and release of Google Forms for ePortfolio PM online orientation for pre-oral and oral presentations. So March 30, last day of online registration for your pre-oral and oral presentations. So I think I also already mentioned this now. April 7 to 9 is the time for the pre-oral presentations and the deadline for the submissions of your RPL e-portfolio. And of course, in the GP SOTE, this is your advisement period for your summer sessions or summer enrollment. And then on April 12 to 16, oral presentations and reconvene presentations. At the same time, this is the release of the comprehensive exams results. So a must date to remember is to remember to our graduate students. And on April 22 to 24 is the colloquium days for thesis seminar students this semester or enrolled this semester. So So this semester, you are guided by our experts under Dr. Cruz and Professor Federizo for your thesis seminar. So you are expected to really come up with a very good colloquium presentation. Thank you. And again, these are very important contact details in case you need assistance or queries, you have queries regarding our graduate programs or anything related to graduate education, please email Dean Pitagan at fbpitagan@npc.edu.ph. And then for minor concerns or some major concerns, you can also email me at do.buhol@npc.edu.ph. And then for general concerns, you can actually email our academic coordinator in the grad school department, ka.galindo@npc.edu.ph. Thank you, and thank you, Sir PJ, and thank you, Doc Ed.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bohol. For those who might have missed some of the dates, now we will be publishing the schedule. So please don't worry. It will be posted on our FB groups. Okay, and at the same time, for those who have some queries about what had been mentioned a while ago, please do not hesitate to email our program head, Professor Bohol. He gave us his email address so that you can email him within the consultation period. So, isa pong paalala sa lahat po ng ating mga mag-aaral, let us observe the consultation period. That's Monday to Friday, that's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is to provide enough time for self-care and for the facilitation of our household and family concerns. Okay, and I hope please be patient because there might be times we are unable to answer immediately to your concerns. Please give us enough time to process and to reply back, but we would do our best to answer as soon as we can. Okay. So at this time, we have already discussed with you the academic provisions of the graduate program. Now let's look at some of your other questions, like for our Bukas PH, for the scholarship, etc. So how do you process that? What are the helpful things that you need to know about our grants? Now let me now call on our scholarship officer, Sir Vincent Agustin. Hi, Sir Vincent. Good afternoon and welcome to our orientation.
Hi, good afternoon, Sir PJ. At
Hi.
magandang hapon po sa ating mga estudyante sa graduate studies. Ako po si Sir Vincent ng Scholarships and Financial Aid Office ng National Teachers College. So I will be discussing with you our financial assistance program for the graduate studies. So una po, meron po tayong financial assistance program. Ito po ay sa pakikipagtulungan sa Bukas PH. Ito po yung ating tinatawag na student loan program. Ito pong student loan program ay naglalayong makatulong po sa ating mga estudyante na makapagpatuloy sa kanilang pag-aaral dito po sa NTC. Okay? So, paano po ba tayo mag-a-apply dito po sa Bukas PH at ano po ba itong programa na ito? So una po, pwede nyo pong bisitahin yung www.bukas.ph/NTC. So dyan po, pwede po kayong mag-apply ng inyong loan. Pwede po yung inyong balance po last semester or last school year. Pati po yung tuition fee ninyo ngayong academic year na ito or ngayong semester, pwede nyo pong pagsamahin sa isang loan po yan. So makikita nyo po sa ating screen ngayon yung sample computation para po sa ating student loan program. Nandyan po yung ating sample ng pag-loan, pati po yung repayment. Ito pong student loan program ay babayaran nyo po sa loob ng 12 buwan or sa loob ng 1 taon. So layunin po nito na mapalawig po yung inyong pagbabayad ng tuition dito po sa NTC. So ang kailangan nyo pong gawin ay pumunta sa www.bukas.ph/ntc at doon po kayo gagawa ng inyong application, ng inyong account. And then after po nun ay kailangan nyo po magsumite ng inyong mga dokumento tulad po ng registration form tsaka po ng inyong school ID. Ngayon kung wala po tayong school ID, ang kailangan nyo pong isubmit ay government ID. So after po nun, ang Bukas PH po ay makikipag-coordinate na po sa amin para po sa inyong balances dito po sa NTC at ipoproseso po yun ng Bukas and then diretso po yung inyong loan sa inyong account. Makikita nyo na lang po yun sa inyong student portal. So yan po yung ating Bukas PH Student Loan Program. So after po dyan ay introduce ko po sa inyo yung ating bagong opisina sa National Teachers College. Ito po yung ating Student Support Center. So ang Student Support Center po ay ang bagong opisina or tanggapan sa ating institusyon na naglalayong makatulong po sa mga inquiries po ng mga estudyante. Alam po namin, we are very aware po na marami po kayong concern ngayon, lalo na po enrollment. So minarapat po ng management na gumawa ng isang opisina na tutugon po sa inyong mga inquiries, sa inyong mga concerns. So ito pong opisina na ito ay pwede nyo pong kontakin sa pamamagitan po ng telepono o kaya naman po ng email. Sa telephone po, pwede nyo po kaming tawagan sa 8734-5601 o kaya naman po mag-email po kayo sa support@ntc.edu.ph. Bukas po ang aming tanggapan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 ng umaga hanggang alas 5 ng hapon. So yan po ang ating Student Support Center. Maraming salamat po at welcome po sa National Teachers College. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Sir Vince, bago mo lisanin, hindi naman tama yung term. Sir, pakiulit yung number, itatype po natin doon sa ating FB Live sa chatroom. Ano po yung number na dapat nilang tawagan para po sa Student Support Center, sir? Ano po yung numbers to dial?
8734
8734
5601.
5601 local.
Yan po sir yung ating trunk line. Diretso na po sa aming opisina.
Okay. So Student Support Center, bago po ito. Pero po sa Lunes nyo po masusubukan kasi wala pong sasagot ngayon. Tapos Sir Vince, meron lang ako nabasang tanong, total na dyan ka na. How about yung mga na-approve na yung kanilang bukas loan? Paano nila malalaman na, mag-i-email ba sa kanila? Tatawag ba ang accounting sa kanila? How would they verify, Sir Vince?
Okay po. Ganito po yan, Sir PJ, para po sa ating mga estudyante. Once po na na-approve na po sa inyong student loan, magta-text po sa inyo ang Bukas PH na approve na po ang inyong loan o kaya naman ay na-disburse na po sa NTC yung inyong inutang na tuition fee. Yun po ay dediretso sa inyong account sa ating student portal. Makikita nyo po yun sa inyo pong student portal na pumasok na po or na-disburse na po sa inyong account yung niloan po ninyo sa Bukas PH.
Okay. So that's going to be very convenient on the part of our students kasi immediately sila mismo ang ino-notify. No need to follow up. Parang ganon. Tama, yes, no? Maraming salamat, Sir Vince, for taking this time. Alam ko Sabado marami kang mga responsibilities but you found time to join us to help spread the good news of Bukas PH and the loans program of your office. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po kayo, Sir Vince.
Thank you, Sir PJ. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Okay. And now that we've listened to the academic provisions, we also looked at the financial provisions. Ngayon naman po, we would like to look at from the student side. So we have joining us on our orientation this afternoon is the president of our doctoral, if I'm not mistaken, MAID and the Doctoral Council. So let us welcome no other than Miss Patty Katabay. Hi, Miss Patty. Good afternoon.
Good
Miss Patty, baka...
afternoon. Good
Yan.
afternoon, Sir
Hi.
Blando. Kita na.
Okay. Yes,
Okay na po.
kitang-kita ka namin, ma'am.
Okay
Okay,
po.
sige, ma'am.
Salamat
Ma'am,
po.
the virtual floor is yours and we welcome you to the orientation and join us in welcoming our graduate school, new graduate school students. So, Miss Katabay, the virtual floor is yours.
Okay. Mapagpalang hapon po sa lahat, sa mga kapwa ko mag-aaral ng doctorate and also the MID students. We have here the approved plan of activities or naaprubahan na po ng Office of Student Affairs under Dr. Elma Cordero with the guidance of our advisor, Dr. Maximo Moldong, and with the collaboration and hard work of my fellow officers, Vice President Dr. Alson Luna, Secretary Mr. Jared Manalastas, Auditor Mr. Jose Albeus, and PIO Mr. Robert Abanan. We have here the first activity will be on February 13, pusong handog ng Graduate School of NTC, an outreach program po. Will be announced po if ever kung saan at sino po yung mapipili po naming beneficiary. Then, second is conduct a webinar series from basic to successively more advanced process in research. We have target date on the following dates: February 20, 2021, March 6, 2021, March 20, 2021, and April 3, 2021. We're encouraging everyone to attend on those following dates and we will announce po sa mga page ng National Teachers College kung saan nyo po ito mahanap. Then, thank you po sa mga kapwa ko estudyante at welcome po sa mga bago mag-aaral ng NTC at sa mga nagbalik aral po at mahal na mahal po talaga nila ang National Teachers College. Bilang mag-aaral ng graduate school, why we are here? Bakit po ba tayo nandito? The roles and function of educational leadership or the leaders. We have a shared vision, opportunities to change, innovate ways to improve teaching and learning as my fellow educators, and to understand the digital natives and the the digital natives, sorry po kinakabahan ako, the digital natives and the digital immigrants, and to enable to others to act. And also as educator and future leaders, kailangan ano po tayo lagi, solution-oriented. Even we have faces problems, challenges, as future leaders and educators, kailangan po, nandun po tayo lagi sa solusyon. Kumbaga, nandoon na yung problema, gawan na lang po natin ng solusyon. And you can reach us, meron pong group chat ang graduate student ng mga doctorate students, and meron din po ang MAED. So, salamat po and you can reach us po. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you very much, Patty, for welcoming our graduate school students. Gusto ko yun, yung mga nagbabalik NTC, parang ang dating tuloy nagbabalik loob. Okay, maraming salamat and welcome to our new officers of the, I think that's the MAID and the Doctoral Council. Okay, so we are closely monitoring your questions on our FB Live, and we are doing our best to answer as promptly as possible. And we appreciate all those who have mentioned these questions because we are able to clarify. Okay, at this part of our orientation, we will have a reflection. And this reflection will be given to us by our, once more, our Vice President for Academic Affairs. So, Sir Ed, let me now call you once more for our closing reflection.
Thank you, Sir PJ, and I hope everyone is not suffering from too much information load at the moment, because we tried our best to compress all the necessary information that you must know before you start your engagement in the second semester of this academic year. I am very much happy about what President Katabay has mentioned about the way you should look at the current situation. There is much that we could learn from all that we are going through right now. In fact, in this segment of our orientation, I would like all our students and faculty members to bring home FIRE. And by FIRE, I mean actually an acronym that contains what I have lived for so far over the last couple of years in messaging to everyone how we make the most of a situation. You know, the truth of the matter is that there are three F's. Not that I like my surname very much, but there are three F's that we are actually suffering from all this time since the lockdown has happened. And as in any difficult situation in life, there will always be a huge amount of frailty or weakness that we are going to experience. And sometimes one weakness that is coupled by another form of weakness can sometimes lead us to our too many frustrations. And because we constantly see ourselves incapable of managing both frailty and frustration, we end up seeing ourselves as failures. But the truth of the matter is that either the system or the environment or other forces are also necessary to be understood so that we can see whether these are real failures or not. But whatever amount of frailty, frustration, or failure you must have, we at the National Teachers College believe that you must all see for yourselves the necessity of three important processes that are germane to the conduct of graduate education. And these are the processes of scholarly inquiry, investigation, and most importantly, innovation. We just want to remind everyone that when you have a particular inquiry, make sure that you ask the right question to the right people at the right time and with the right attitude. Because it is important that you know how to ask questions, but if you don't have the right attitude to actually do that, then it's going to fail in terms of it delivering the outcomes that you need. And as soon as you get the answer, don't be satisfied with it. Make the most of the information that you have so that you could conduct your independent investigation of the other issues attached to your original concern. Because by constantly iterating your approach to looking at these concerns, you will likely end up in the most promising innovation at the personal and professional level. And what do these three I's eventually yield for you? We call them the new three R's, which are reasoning, resilience, and responsibility. When you make adequate sense of the things around you and make sense of the reason why they are there, you are not just technically using or accommodating information, you're processing it properly so that you could understand better your situation. And if the information tells you that you can do this action better than the other, then you're actually on your way towards seeing yourself becoming a more resilient person. But you see, your resilience is something that should not stay with you. It has to be shared with others so that they too can be guided on what to do next. And that is the time you increase your sense of responsibility. When these three R's are constantly practiced by both students and teachers, we actually end up really understanding the meaning of engagement. And engagement means establishing that kind of rapport that leads us towards asking questions, answering questions, sharing information, creating solutions, and so on and so forth, which eventually can give us the power to change our situation of frailty, frustration, and even failure. And once that power is shared among us, we then can capitalize on that to emancipate or liberate ourselves from any amount of, again, frailty, frustration, and failure. It is therefore time for us at the National Teachers College, whether you are coming back to your original home or you are continuing your journey in your newfound home at the NTC Graduate Program for Teacher Education, we want you to remember, ikaw, ako, tayo, ang alab ng tanglaw. Huwag kayong matakot, hindi kayo nag-iisa, at patuloy tayong maglalakbay ng magkakakapit bisig dahil tayo ay naniniwala na hanggat tayo ay nagkakaloob ng pangunawa at ng pagpakikiramay sa isa't isa, pasasaan ba at magiging maayos din ang lahat. Very much like the closing video that we are now going to play and for you to reflect on. Can I now ask our technical team to play our reflection video?
Huwag kang matakot, di mo ba alam, nandito lang ako sa iyong tabi. Di kita pababayaan kailanman. At kung ikaw ay mahulog sa bangin, ay sasaluhin kita. Huwag kang matakot na matulog mag-isa, kasama mo naman ako. Huwag kang matakot na umibig at lumuha, kasama mo naman ako. Huwag kang matakot. Huwag kang matakot, dahil ang buhay mo'y walang katapusan. Makapangyarihan ang pag-ibig na hawak mo sa iyong kamay. Ikaw ang Diyos at Hari ng iyong mundo. Matakot sila sa'yo. Huwag kang matakot na matulog mag-isa, kasama mo naman ako. Huwag kang matakot sa hindi mo pa makita, kasama mo naman ako. Huwag kang matakot, di mo ba alam, nandito lang ako sa iyong tabi. Di kita pababayaan kailanman.
Program orientation for the second semester of academic year 2020-2021. We thank you for joining us and welcome to the National Teachers College. Good afternoon and have a pleasant day ahead of you, a pleasant weekend ahead of you, and see you in our sync sessions. Mabuhay at magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Kami ay manlalakbay, tanging paaralan. Taglay namin ang iyong ngalan, iwanan
Ang